Good evening. Is that working? All right. Good evening. Welcome to the May 13th meeting of the Nixa City Council. I call the meeting to order.
Kelly Morris.
Here.
Matt Ogden.
Here.
Sean Lucas.
Here.
Aaron Peterson.
Here.
Darlene Graham.
Here.
Zern Vess.
Here.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We will start off this evening with ALS Awareness Month. I don't believe that the representative from the ALS Association is here tonight, so actually at the end of the meeting, I would like to get all of council over there to take a picture with the proclamation so we can send it to them because they would like to have a picture along with this. So, all right. Whereas amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, sorry, that was a tough one. ALS, known by many as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive fatal neurodegenerative disease that attacks nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord, making even the simplest movements, walking, speaking, and gesturing, difficult. And whereas approximately 5,000 people are diagnosed with ALS each year, with a new diagnosis every 90 minutes. And whereas ALS strikes people regardless of race, ethnicity, or social status, and currently has no known cause, means of prevention, or cure, making diagnosis difficult, ALS is 100% fatal and has few treatments to improve quality of life. And whereas finding the causes and cures for ALS will prevent the disease from robbing hundreds of thousands of Americans of their dignity and lives, and whereas on average patients diagnosed with ALS only survive 2 to 5 years from the time of diagnosis, and whereas research indicates that military veterans are approximately 50% more likely to develop ALS than those who have not served in the military, and whereas ALS Awareness Month raises awareness of the dire circumstances faced by those with ALS, acknowledges the terrible impact this diagnosis has on affecting individuals, their families, and the community, and recognizes the importance of continued research to eradicate this disease. Now therefore, I, Jared Giddens, Mayor for the City of Nixa, Missouri, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as ALS Awareness Month. All right. And first up, we have presentations. We have two tonight. First up would be Whitney Geeson, the President and CEO of the Nixa Chamber of Commerce, to discuss Sucker Days. I can't talk today. It is really close.
Mayor and Council, good evening. First off, I want to apologize because I was supposed to be here the last time you all were together, and I wasn't. I can tell you why, but the reason is I forgot, and I was putting my kids to bed when I got the text from a handful of people, so I couldn't just zip over here at that point. But I'm here now. I'm actually really excited to talk about Sucker Days today because we have some data that we just simply haven't had in the past. So I'm excited to share that with you. A lot of this data, most of it actually comes from a technology called Placer AI. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but thanks to our partnership with Show Me Christian County, we actually have access to Placer AI, and they've been running a lot of reports for us. Nixpo and Sucker Days was a big one that I want to see actual numbers to because we can't stand on the street and count people. I mean, we can, but nobody wants to do that. So we felt like this would be a much better way to go through this.
Point it back.
Point that way? Nope.
Yeah.
All right. So first off, just generally overview Sucker Days. Obviously, a festival. Actually, in the car before I walked in here today, I had an interview with a reporter ask me about why Sucker Days. Why do we do it? I will get louder. Can everyone hear me? And I hadn't really iterated this before she asked me that question, but I loved the question of why do we do something like Sucker Days? And I think the quality of place or community aspect of it is so important. I think all of us, anyone who grew up here recognizes that, and those of us who have moved here recognize that. But I think something like Sucker Days, what it does is it invites newer people into the identity of a place like Nixa, right? Lets them experience what a small town is like through something like Sucker Days, where we actually experience that tradition and we keep it going year over year over year. If I had to say the most important thing about something like this would be to bring the whole community together. And of course, there's the economic activity aspect of it, which we will also talk about. Soon. Straight up?
Yeah, but it's
That
connected
way?
to the computer, not the projector, guys.
There we go. Thank you. Should I just I'll do that. Not right now, though. Okay. So bringing the community together, we have local talent. We have Mixtapes, New Waves, Dakota Hale. Local businesses support this event. The Auto Parlor is a big one. They're newer in Nixa, and they are big, and they want to be involved. Optimum, obviously, they're not located here, but they do business here, and they're supporting Sucker Days. Eagle Pride Automotive is a big one. Ozark Chevy, Great Southern Bank. I mean, these are all names that we know. They're around. They're local. And then, of course, we have over 100 arts, crafts, and food vendors. Yeah, that's going to work good, I think. Just to give you some numbers, I don't know if people actually go over this with everyone, but we split donations with nonprofit organizations after Sucker Days is over. Since 2019, we've shared over $20,000 with different nonprofits, as well as about $12,000 in scholarships. So Sucker Days is not just a, hey, everyone get out and get together, but it actually supports nonprofits and students, which is excellent. And then I just love this picture because this is truly the community coming out in force to experience and have fun and enjoy Sucker Days. All right, so getting into more of the economic activity portion of this thing, 2019, we could have gone back further, but we just started in 2019. It was a number of years ago. It's plenty far enough ago to see what kind of growth we've had. It was right after the chamber took over the event. So we had about 69,000 show up for Sucker Days in 2019. As you can see, we had over 10,000 people in 2023. So we are growing. The event is growing. We're going to get into more details about who's coming and who's experiencing our town. So 96% of our visitors come from Nixa, Ozark, Springfield, Republic, the Missouri, our little surrounding community, right? Our region. But 4% come from that list last year. This is last year. Came from that list there. Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, California, Virginia, Illinois, Kentucky, Ohio, South Carolina, and Arkansas, which I think is awesome. Now, I'm not going to suggest that someone from California got on their phone and said, ooh, Sucker Days is in Missouri. I'm driving there for that. But they were here, and they wanted to do something, and they came and experienced Nixa. And granted, it's just a slice, but I imagine they probably went back and said, did you know there's a place in the Midwest that eats fried suckerfish? Did you know what a suckerfish was? I didn't know what it was, Being from California, we don't know what it is. So I love that people can experience our little tiny area of the world because we have this event here. When they're close enough, they want to come and they want to experience it. And they're going to take that experience back, and they're going to hopefully tell people, come and experience Nixa because it was a cool thing to do. Oh, she wasn't looking at me. So, moving forward with Sucker Days, it's obviously, there's two big hurdles for something like this. It's a 3-day festival, 10,000 visitors. It requires so many different moving pieces. Community partnerships is so huge. Partnership with the city, which we've had your support over the years, and we need that continued support to have it continue and sustain this event, and volunteers. That's the other big one, because the chamber is a staff of 4 right now, but only because of Sucker Days. We brought in a part-time person to help with Sucker Days, and we need way more than that. So without the dollars behind it and without the volunteer hours behind it, we wouldn't be able to pull off this event. So moving forward, I think a little ear towards this is a truly a growing festival. It really highlights our community. The community itself is behind it, and the only way for that to continue is if we continue strong community partnerships, including with the city, and get those volunteers that we need year over year over year. I don't think there's another one, is there? Oh, questions? There's another one. Is this a time for questions, or do I just sit down?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions. I have a couple comments. I actually talked to a resident today about a couple of the things I'm bringing up later, but he lives right there in the heart of Sucker Days, and he's looking forward to it. He's excited about it. He loves Sucker Days. So it's kind of cool to hear that. And secondly, to add to your map, if everything goes right, I'm going to have some people in town this weekend that'll be from Texas, so add another state to you.
Add a state for next year's presentation. Love it.
Thank you.
I always wonder, because you look back at the old pictures of when Sucker Days first started and them on Main Street, and I kind of wondered what they would have thought if you would have showed them that picture, because there wasn't, you could still drive a vehicle down the road when they were out there cooking it. So
Yeah, we don't let that happen anymore.
yeah,
No driving vehicles.
I mean,
down the road.
honestly, it wasn't. I mean, I remember I used to live close to that area, and we would walk up there and push a stroller, and it wasn't even a quarter as big as it is now.
Yep,
So it's pretty cool.
it is cool.
What are the dates and times for this event?
May 17th, 18th, and 19th, which is this coming weekend. So the parade is Friday, like always. Starts at 6. We're lining up at 4-ish, 4 o'clock. Zern's actually helping with that. You want to say something?
4 o'clock
At the junior high.
The only parade that starts, that I know of, that starts different, it starts at the junior high.
Yeah, starts at junior high.
At a different place, but we won't mention that place, we'll go there. Junior high.
Junior high.
Buses leave, don't show up before the buses leave.
Yeah, after that. Everything Zern just said. And then Saturday is 9 to 9 is when the craft vendors are open, but music is going to be going until 10:30ish, and the beer garden will be going as long as the music's going. And then Sunday is noon to 6, and that's when we have the cornhole tournament that benefits the Nixa Citizens Police Academy Association Alumni Association. Dang it, I was so close. I always mess it up.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There is, y'all posted a thing on Facebook that gave the times too.
Yep, there's a thing on there's a lot of things on Facebook. You go on Facebook, you'll find a lot of things about Sucker Days.
Perfect.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Whitney.
Thanks.
All right. Next up, Ashley Copley. And Amanda, okay. Say, that is not Brandon.
All right, I think Macy has a presentation for us that she put together too. We're back, year 2 of One Nixa, One Read, and we're here to introduce our book for this year. If you could go to the next slide. If you remember, we were here last year. It was a partnership between Nixa Public Schools, the City of Nixa, and Christian County Library, and I believe that our mayor and our school superintendent had a lot to do with why we're here and making this a reality. So this idea of what if an entire community read the same book at the same time and had discussions about it came to be. Last year, we felt like we picked the perfect book with Wonder. It was a great message. We were able to kick it off at the library. We gave away 148 copies of the book. We held weekly book club meetings, and we had movie in the park where we showed Wonder. So we had some lessons learned. We tried to throw this together pretty quickly last year. One of the things that we're doing different this year is we're going to do June, not July. It was pretty hot in July, but also June allows us to read our book during summer school. So we can get a lot of students involved, and our teachers are already planning on how they're going to get our book involved during summer school. And switch it. All right, so there's our book. Our book for this year is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And real quick, we're going to test your knowledge of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Amanda got all of these right, so I'm only going to ask a couple. But does anybody know, one, what Charlie's last name is? Help him out. Charlie Bucket.
You got that one.
How about, what did Charlie's dad do for a living?
Really?
Did she say it? What did he do?
He worked in a toothpaste factory and he put lids or caps on toothpaste.
She's exactly right. He screwed on the lids to toothpaste. What's another one? How many golden tickets were given away? 5 golden tickets. Good job. There's so much more that you probably forgot, so we would recommend that you read the classic along with us. All right, and here's kind of a list of our events. Amanda, do you want to talk?
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised you even got
She
her up
said, I'll go up
so-
there, but I'm not talking. So we're going to kick it off at the library again this year on May 30th. We, from donations, and we'll talk about those donations at the end, have already been able to purchase 200 books. That's amazing. We hope to get rid of or hand out the 200 books and then have some sponsors. We're going to go to Chamber tomorrow and ask for some sponsors so we can get them in the hands of our kids in summer school as well, which will be exciting. So on the 30th, 5 to 7 is kickoff. We are going to invite you all as council members to help us grill. We're going to provide some hot dogs and chips and waters at this event. And then CC Links, if you were able to come last year, CC Links brought their CC Rhythms performance. If you have not heard them perform, they are one of my favorites. They are worth it. So if you can come out, if nothing else, just to hear them perform, it will not be a waste of your time, and you will want them back every year. At Chamber tomorrow, we're going to present our Wonka Golden Tickets. We're going to ask our community members, our business owners, if they would like to sponsor a ticket. So for $100, a sponsorship buys 10 books and 10 ice creams. And the point of these golden tickets is to get people out in our community and explore and visiting all that Nixa has to offer. So for that $100, 10 tickets will be handed out, 10 books will be handed out, and when they come to our movie at the park on June 28th, which is going to be part of the MG Cares Summer Series, they can redeem their golden tickets for an ice cream. So that will be pretty awesome and something new we've been able to offer. So 30th is kickoff. Golden tickets, we'll talk to Chamber tomorrow. June 28th is our movie, and we are playing that 1971 classic starring who? Gene Wilder's. We'd love to have you there. What are we missing? Go to the next slide. Yep, there's our golden tickets, and next. There are our sponsors. So we were able to get our books from the Nixa Community Foundation, and then the Nixa Education Foundation also gave a generous donation where we were able to purchase those 200 books up front, and then anything else will go towards the ice creams and additional books. And Heart of the Ozarks will have her truck out providing the ice cream. She's getting super creative and coming up with flavors to match the theme. So hope you all can join us on May 30th. Thanks for having us, and make sure you get your copy of the book.
You didn't want to add anything, Amanda?
And we have a half, oh,
Okay.
go ahead, Amanda. Thank you. We have your hat. If you could wear that jacket, I think you might fit the part.
Okay. I mean, I could probably find
You want
another
to try
jacket
it?
that might
Oh, we're blocked.
match.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Have fun.
I'm sure I could find a Wonka jacket somewhere. All right. All right, next up is our visitors section.
Russ Williams.
Hello, Russ Williams. I need your help. For several years now, I live over by Daisy's Imaginary PlayStation. I don't have a problem with children laughing and playing. What I have a problem with is children that are screaming literally at the top of their lungs and pitching fits. And I'm in my house and I work from home and I have to wear earplugs constantly. And I have to stay up late at night to finish a lot of the work, and then I can't even sleep in the mornings because, again, here comes the screaming. And it literally sounds like they're in my house. Last year I called the Nixa Police Department because that's what I was told to do by an attorney. I was told that, well, if I didn't like it, I could move. So what do I do when I can't call the people that are supposed to enforce city codes and laws on peace disturbance, and I'm made out to be the problem? I don't know what else to do. I'm here, please. I mean, it's wearing on me. And I've called over there and been nice, and they have literally, for a week or two, it's quiet. The children are playing, they're laughing. The ones that are screaming, you don't hear it. How many of you like to go home in the evening, kick off your shoes, relax in a nice, peaceful house? Imagine not being able to do that from 8 to 11 and then from 3 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday. So I am having to, I'm asking please something be done, maybe a sound barrier between the houses and the place. That I don't expect them to move or to, anything like that. Again, it's the ones that are screaming at the top of their lungs, literally. That's the ones that sound like they're in my house. And if someone would please help me, I would appreciate it.
Mr. Williams, I have a pretty good relationship with the owners of that, so I'll be more than happy to talk to them and see if there's something that can be done.
Okay.
But,
I would appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
and we have your contact info, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll reach out to you soon. Anybody else? All right. No one else has signed up. Feel free to go ahead and come on up, Mr. Sanders.
Good evening. My name's Ron Sanders, and I got this piece of paper for you. And for my birthday, I'm going to gift you guys with grace. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders.
Happy birthday. Happy belated.
All right. Now I will leave the public hearing open if anyone would like to get up and speak, or visitor section, I guess. All right. I will close the visitor section. Moving on to first reading, Council Bill 2024-14.
First reading Council Bill number 2024-14, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa amending the 2024 annual budget for the purpose of funding an additional position within the Utility Billing Division of the Finance Department, presenting as Finance Director Jennifer Evans.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. The budget amendment you have before you is to add an additional position to utility billing office staff. As you know, we've had a lot of staff turnover in the last year, and because of the time it takes to train someone adequately in that department, we feel the need to go ahead and get somebody in there, get them trained, and get them well established because we do have such a green staff. And so the thought process is within the next, looking ahead within the next 12 to 18 months, we want to have a good solid foundation of a staff who really knows what they're doing in case we have, a couple that are eligible to retire, do so. So we want to make sure we're out ahead of that and thinking ahead along those lines. So it's our recommendation that you pass this bill, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Jennifer. All right, no other questions. I will open up the public hearing if you would like to speak on this matter. I will close the public hearing. Nothing else? All right, moving on. Council Bill 2024-15.
First reading, Council Bill number 2024-15, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa amending the 2024 annual budget for the purpose of funding the purchase of materials and equipment for the Nixa Utility and Public Works Department. Presenting is Assistant City Administrator and Public Works Director Doug Coleman.
Mayor and Council, good evening. As Becca said, this is a multifaceted budget amendment. It comes from a number of departments. Most of the items that I'm going to bring to you are somehow related to supply chain issues. Everything from trucks we couldn't get from the last couple of years to materials that we need that we need to order that probably won't get until in late 2025, but we need to go ahead and get it ordered and get in the queue. What we have, we did obtain some of the lease trucks that we have been waiting on for a couple of years. We did budget the lease for the trucks. What we didn't budget were the add-on items. So we need a number of plows for trucks for the street department, that type of thing. We need the safety light equipment, the accessories that we actually put on. Though we can get some of those accessories through Enterprise, we've found that we can put them on ourselves at a better cost savings and have better materials put on there. We haven't, though the trucks are fine, some of the add-ons, we just haven't been to what we typically use or the quality that we typically use. So some of the other items include some repairs. Especially on the electric side, we've got a couple of bucket trucks that have some very high dollar repairs. One of them, I believe, is around $38,000. Those trucks have to be tested for dielectric testing. It's a safety issue, and once they tear one down, they'll get into a number of things, and if they find stuff that could potentially pose a shock hazard, we'll go ahead and fix that while it's torn down. There again, this is one of those trucks that we've had on order for several years, and we don't have it yet. So they're getting to the age where they're starting to wear, and we're starting to see some more repairs, and so that's where some of this is coming from. We'll budget a dollar amount for repairs, and we're doing it 18 months in advance, so it's just kind of a guess. So that's part of why we're bringing you this. I think I mentioned the materials. What I'll do here is break down for all of those vehicles, the add-ons and some of the stuff for those. The street department, it's around $57,500. On the electric department side, because of the large repairs, is at $71,000. The water is just under $10,000. The bigger items on this budget amendment have to do with materials. We have transformers that we have ordered. We have some more that we need to order because we're anticipating subdivisions and some commercial items that we see coming, and talking to our engineers and some of the annexations that have already been approved. So we need to order some transformers and some underground materials that go with that. We're also short on poles. So the total amount on the electric side, we have some insurance and bonds, poles, transformers, underground electric, which includes everything from elbows to boxes. And that is the big ticket item at about $1.47 million. So all total, I don't have a total, I'm sorry. Wait. I don't have a total in front of me.
it's just a little farther down, 1.6.
There we go.
1,614,700 to be the total.
Thank you. I didn't scroll down far enough. I'd be happy to take any questions you have.
Yeah, I got a couple on the like snow plows.
Yes, sir.
Are these like brand new trucks? You know, like we're replacing trucks?
Yes, we'll be replacing trucks, and
So-
the new trucks need a different plow. The old plows don't fit these trucks, so
Okay.
we'll sell the old plows as well.
Gotcha. Okay. And then on the items like your first aid, fire extinguishers, all that stuff. I mean, obviously your lights they're different, but we don't take those off from one truck to another truck and just.
We do some, but some of those, like the little fire extinguishers, they go out of date.
Right.
You know, some of that type of thing. So
I'm assuming
this and there's a little extra built in here because we still have a couple more trucks out there. If they come in, we'll need to do the same thing with those.
Okay.
So we're anticipating, hopefully, we'll get those as well.
These are all items that have been budgeted in the previous years that just the cost never came about, so we're having to carry that forward. Is that what it was when you say we've ordered them, but we haven't received them?
We would have spent, yes, like on these vehicles, we would have spent this over time as these came. That's correct, we would have, but by not getting all of these and then we're all lumped in one spot, like I said, we did have it in the budget for the actual lease cost if they came in. What we didn't anticipate was, you know, needing to buy more plows and that type of thing, so.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Colvin. If there are no other questions, I will open up the public hearing. Fair enough. I will close the public hearing. Anything else from council? All right, moving on. Council Bill 2024-16.
First reading, Council Bill number 2024-16, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa, amending Chapter 117, Article 4, Section 117-102, and Section 117-99 of the Nixa City Code for the purpose of modifying the city's regulations related to short-term residential rentals. Presenting is Planning and Development Director Scott Gabby.
Mayor, council, good evening. I feel like I can almost touch you guys right now, but I'll keep my distance. After many months of working with our planning and zoning commissioners to kind of get a path forward on changes to our short-term rental ordinance and also working with the legal department, I'm happy to bring to you a code change for our short-term rentals, or how they're allowed inside the city of Nixa. So in 2019 is when we first drafted some short-term rental ordinance, and that was concerning the fast-growing, the sharing economy of short-term rentals. At that time, we regulated them based off of you had to be a primary, the structure had to be your primary residence, and you had to get a special use permit and a business license and a rental inspection. All that has kind of been thrown out the window with the passage of House Bill 1662 in 2022. It kind of takes away a lot of our ability to regulate home occupations, and that's exactly how our previous short-term rental code, or our current code, was written, was that these short-term rentals were basically home occupations. So what you have in front of you with the council bill, you'll notice that there is quite a bit of stuff being removed. That is due to the House bill. Those are primarily only related to the primary residence rentals. Again, those are the ones where people actually live in those structures and rent out a room or a portion thereof, or the entire dwelling unit or basement or whatever it might be. The only regulations for those right now is going to be the requirement of a business license. The other big change in this ordinance is to allow for non-primary residence rentals, or what is commonly referred to as investment properties. Again, these will be structures that are not primarily occupied by a tenant. They are just there, strictly used for short-term rentals.
Those will now be allowed inside the city of Nixa. I used to get lots of phone calls on this, wanting to know what our regulations were, or from potential home buyers that wanted to just use it as short-term rentals, and always had to tell them it wasn't allowed at this time. So this is kind of the big change. Another aspect to it is there will be a 150-foot buffer around the property that is used as a non-primary residence rental. So that could, provide some spacing, and that ensures that a whole neighborhood or a whole block is not strictly bought up and used as short-term rentals. They will have to get an annual rental inspection and comply with our rental inspection program. But other than that, that's kind of the basis of what you see in front of you. This was, again, crafted after many talks and discussions with the Planning and Zoning Commission. This was read in front of the commission on May 5th, and no one approached the commission to express any concerns. And the Planning and Zoning Commission did vote unanimously to recommend approval to Nixa City Council. Staff does recommend approval as it cleans up our ordinance and takes into account what House Bill 1662 did to home-based occupation. So we're removing a lot of those conflicts. If you have any questions, I'm available.
I think the only question or concern that I have would be when it comes to the part with the non-primary residence, with the 150 feet part of that. I don't know that that's even something that we necessarily have to have in there.
That was just left over from our original ordinance from 2019, which required it. So there's, again, the only concern, or if not having it, is that a potential neighborhood could be bought up. But that's the only reason why it was originally in there.
Yeah, I feel by leaving that in there, you can go, an investor could go buy a whole neighborhood and make it rental property. So now we're telling an investor what they cannot invest in. So if they can invest in rental property, why should we restrict them from using it as an Airbnb if they could use it as long-term rental anyways?
That's a good point.
So I kind of agree with Mr. Lucas of that 150, we could probably pull out of there as well.
So there is an amendment that has already been drafted, removing the 150 feet distance. However, since that was discussed at the workshop, there was not enough time to get it on this agenda, and I did not want something brought onto the agenda and then us change it during a meeting without the public being able to see it in the agenda posted online. So it is there, and we can bring it back at the next meeting, which would amend that 150 feet distance. A lot of nods, but no talking. What's going on?
Thank you.
That sounds good. Sounds
Thank
like
you,
we'll
Mr.
have
Bass.
to
Why didn't
move
you go
to-
first?
We'll do the amendment at the next meeting, it looks like.
Just like to hear you guys talk every once in a while, so. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Godby.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions or discussion, I will open up the public hearing.
Your moment of grace has expired. I'm Ron Sanders. Couple questions about this. I'm also my HOA president, and how HOAs get their structure and everything is from covenants and restrictions on the deeds. And one of the restrictions that can be put on the deeds, especially for whole neighborhoods, is how many rentals can be allowed to be in a certain neighborhood and everything. So now, I don't know if the HOAs around here are aware of it, but now they're going to have to go back and they're going to have to amend their covenants and restrictions if the neighbors vote for it to restrict the Airbnbs if possible. So when it comes time for them to get their licenses and everything, are those deed restrictions going to be reviewed before the license is issued?
Yes.
Is that in the
Yep.
the ordinance?
Yeah, because there's some neighborhoods in Nixa that even have you have to live in the home for 18 months before you can make it a rental property. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. And I will say probably in a lot of the neighborhoods, there's a lot of the HOAs already prohibit short-term rentals.
Okay, good.
So, yeah. If anyone else would like to speak, feel free to do so. If not, I will close the public hearing. So anything else from council? So go ahead and bring back the amendment at the next meeting, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. All right, moving on to the resolutions section, Resolution 2024-30.
How do I exclude myself? I need to be excluded. It's for the sucker days.
Before you read that, quick question. So this is about the city sponsorship for Nixa Sucker
I think
Days.
we'll just be excluded.
I struggle with this one because I don't believe a board member or really, I mean, if anything, maybe employee have any financial gain from Nixa Sucker Days. And the reason I ask is for them to recuse themselves on this. What's your thoughts?
I would, I mean, if the council members in question are uncomfortable with voting on this, then my advice would be to recuse themselves from consideration of the item.
Okay.
Yeah, just,
If you want to, you can.
yeah, I will.
Well, you actually get paid by the chamber. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a good thing.
And proceed.
Resolution number 2024-30, a resolution of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the city administrator to execute a contract with the Nixa Chamber of Commerce regarding the city's sponsorship of Nixa Sucker Days 2024. Presenting is Assistant City Administrator Cindy Robbins.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As Becca just said, this resolution tonight presented would execute a contract with the Nixa Chamber for a sponsorship with the Nixa Sucker Days. As Ms. Gison spoke this evening, Nixa Sucker Days is coming up this weekend, and the Chamber has asked the city for a sponsorship for $8,000 to assist in the expenses of this event. If you'll remember earlier this year, the city entered into a contract with the Chamber, and there was some language in the contract that states that the Chamber will coordinate and promote local events in order to emphasize the quality of place and community pride. It also states that the Chamber will promote Nixa's businesses and community by promoting community events to encourage attendance and participation. And it also states that the Chamber will engage in collaborative efforts to market Nixa as a destination. This contract this evening that is presented is actually a collaboration between the city and the Chamber for the event. In return for the $8,000 sponsorship, the city will receive a high level of recognition in print materials, and that includes maps and schedules, 2 10x10 booths, one for the city and one for the police department, and the city's logo on the back of the shirt that Whitney is wearing this evening, and recognition in both pre and post publicity. And I do want to add that the $8,000 was budgeted in this year's budget, so it's nothing new. As you know, with the 10,000 attendees expected, this will be a huge economic boost for our local businesses. So staff does recommend approval of the resolution. I'm available for any questions on this resolution.
Any questions? I'm just wondering if you're going to take the logo off the shirt if we say no.
I actually just texted her to see if it's
great
already
big
on there
X.
tonight.
Just put some tape on it.
Just put a great big X.
A big 14 mil sticker over it.
There you go.
All right, any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. No questions, I will open up the public hearing if you would like to speak on this. All right, I will close the public hearing. There's Nothing else from council or staff. I will accept a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
First by Mr. Ogden, a second by Ms. Morris. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Matt. All right, moving on. Resolution 2024-31.
Resolution number 2024-31, a resolution of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the city administrator to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Ozark Transportation Organization regarding the disbursement of grant funding for the installation of electric vehicle charging stations. Presenting is Assistant Public Works Director Travis Cossey.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a resolution to authorize the city to enter into a MOU with the Ozarks Transportation Organization to help to facilitate the distribution and receipt of grant funds that were awarded to the city. If you'll recall, in May of last year, the City Council authorized staff to apply for funding for EV chargers as part of the Carbon Reduction Act funding that was provided by the federal government. We did receive a project award in the amount of just approximately $132,000 for level 2 EV chargers at 3 of Nixa sites, one here at City Hall, one at the community center, and then also one at the original downtown parking lot in downtown Nixa. Since that time, staff has been working with the OTO to receive that funding. The federal government, in their infinite wisdom, provided funding for EV chargers through the Carbon Reduction Act. However, they did not provide a mechanism to transfer those funds from the federal government down to local entities who receive those funds. So OTO has been working diligently with the other transportation organizations throughout the country to facilitate a means to receive those funds. They're working with Federal Highway. They have developed a coordination effort where the funds can be distributed through the local transportation organizations to fund the projects that were awarded. However, it necessitates that the transportation organizations serve as the project facilitator for those transfer of funds. So this MOU is to enter into a contract for the city of Nixa to receive that funding through the OTO, which will be the grant administrator, along with 7 other jurisdictions in OTO's area that did receive grant funds for the same purpose. So this will allow us to receive approximately $105,000 of federal funds, which is 80% of the project total. And then we will provide our local match, which was budgeted for this project, to OTO to help in that facilitation of those fundings. So it's kind of a means of funneling money in and out. However, we will still be, of course, completely involved in the project as far as the location of the sites and the plan preparation. It just, OTO will actually be the grant administrator in this case.
You mentioned the sites that those were going to be located. Did we have those predetermined, or was that something we were still trying to work out and decided on?
No, those are predetermined as far as the grant process. Okay. Yeah, those were the 3 local sites that were city-owned properties that we were able to provide those charging facilities. And there will be a bank of 4 chargers at each of those locations.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
That was my question, but he answered it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Cossey.
Okay, thank you.
There are no other questions. I will open up the public hearing. If you would like to speak on this. All right, I will close the public hearing. Anything else from council?
I can't believe that was May from last year. I thought it was just in the fall. That's crazy. How fast time flies.
Oh, I know. I'm sure former mayor still is surprised we still haven't got this done yet. But all right, if there are no other questions, I will accept a motion.
So made.
Second.
First by Mr. Lucas. I believe Mr. Peterson won that one.
You did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. And last one, Resolution 2024-32.
Resolution number 2024-32, a resolution of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the city administrator to execute a contract with the Christian County Business Development Corporation, DBA Show Me Christian County. Presenting is City Administrator Jimmy Lyles.
Mayor, Council, before you is the new contract for Show Me, or as the organization as we know as Show Me Christian County. The contract is similar to the last contract that we had with Show Me, but I do want to point out a few additional items that we did include in the new contract that you may not have seen in the prior one. Sorry, that threw me off for a second there. The current contract that we have before you tonight is for $50,000 a year for the next 3 years, which is similar again to our last contract and is in the same amount as the last contract. This new contract has, like I said, a few additional items in it. One of those additional benefits that is specific to the city of Nixa is we now would have the benefits of what's considered the champion membership level, which provides a much higher level of recognition to the city of Nixa. That would include things such as being recognized as an investor, both with our city logo and links on Show Me's website. Also including some cross-reference links to the city's website for things like incentives, economic development incentives, zoning, things of that nature. The city will also receive 2 full-page ads in Show Me's digital resource guide that will help promote the city of Nixa to current business owners and developers looking to relocate or expand within our community. The city will also be listed as a partner in much of, or the majority of Show Me Christian County's video content, as well as we'll also retain 1 voting representation on the board of directors for Show Me Christian County. And then I think that last year we was able to make a trip to Jefferson City along with Show Me. This contract will ensure that we have a seat on that trip every year moving forward. Also, you'll see, because I know that the question has been asked about Show Me presenting to council, you'll see in the new contract there is a minimum requirement of a presentation to city council at least twice at a minimum a year, along with this contract. As I mentioned before, the contract is for $50,000 a year for 3 years, but I will also point out that $5,000 of that goes toward the SREP, or Springfield Regional Economic Partnership. So it'll go towards SREP organization. Now, Show Me Christian County will represent the city of Nixa as well as the other communities within Christian County at SREP. But that in no means does not mean that we no longer have a voice, because Show Me Christian County will be our voice with SREP, and we also have those contacts that we can reach out and take part in as well. I know that we've sent Scott a few times to that organization, and so he also will work with Show Me in representing our needs for SREP. So I know that tonight, I know that's just a brief overview, and the contract's much longer and includes a lot more things than just that, but I just wanted to make sure I at least pointed out the additional things that this new contract that you'll see in the new one that may not have been in the original one. Show Me will continue to be the economic development organization for the city of Nixa and work closely with the city. I will point out that Kristen and her team has done a fantastic job communicating with us, working with us. We have a meet on a regular basis and to evaluate the opportunities for our community. So I think they're doing a fantastic job for the city, and it would be staff's recommendation to continue and move into the new contract with Show Me. And I'll just point out also that this is in the budget. We did budget for this year, so it is budgeted and everything's in place. So I know during the visitor section, I think Kristen and some others may want to speak as well, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Going back to SREP, isn't there, this is more of a question actually, there's software that we have access to that would normally cost a lot more than that
Yes.
$5,000 that we
By
spent?
continuing our membership with SREP, we'll actually have access to actually Placer AI that Whitney mentioned earlier. That's how we get that data, is through that software, and without that SREP membership, and if we wanted access to that software, we would have to pay that full amount, which is significantly more than the $5,000. So we do get quite a bit of a benefit just from being a part of SREP through Show Me Christian County and access to that software.
Did you say that in the past we've done a 3-year contract and it's been the same amount each time?
Well,
or
this
is the
one
first time
is a
we've done it?
3-year. I'm going to go back. I may have misspoke. I'll have to go back and look at the old contract. I don't remember if it was 3 or 5 year, but I know this one is 3 year. which is consistent with how we're, same as we did with the chamber contract, and it's consistent with those contracts.
I like to move more towards, if possible, those 3-year. That way, it doesn't, the contract's not longer than everyone on the council. Just kind of a thing I do. I don't know.
Understand.
Any other questions for Mr. Lyles? Thanks, sir. All right. If there are no other questions from council, I will open up the public hearing. Feel free to go.
Very long walk from the back. Mayor, Council, good evening. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. I did prepare a quick summary just about some of the work that we've done this past year, and even highlights a couple of items from last year for you to just kind of look at to see the progress and the things that we've been working on. And also, Rich is here from 14 Mill. I want him to come up and visit about Show Me's role in 14 Mill opening up here in Nixa. So we feel like there's a lot of things that Show Me has been involved in, and we always want to talk about our partnerships because we're not doing it alone. We have the partnerships with like SREP, with the city that we're collaborating with to make these things happen. So we never want to take credit for things that we're not doing, but we're also wanting to be recognized with our partners on all the work that we are doing. So we did want to highlight, of course, 14 Mill. Currently, we have 4 active projects here in Nixa. We have 8 businesses that are looking throughout the region. 8 of them are also considering specifically Nixa that we're proposing sites to. We are very excited about that. Just to give you, I know I'm on a time limit, about a year ago, we had about 8 projects countywide that we were working, and currently we have 19. And we have 10 leads as well. So the amount of work and the amount of projects and the interest in Christian County is growing. And so that is, of course, growing here in Nixa as well. So we are so thankful that we're able to talk about the great things here in Nixa. Also on the sheet, I wanted to, I'm glad Whitney pointed out Placer AI. I think some of those resources that we can pull data from is going to be very helpful for our businesses here. And that partnership with the chamber is vital to us to have those relationships with some of the businesses here. And then also this last year and the past 2 years, we've been very engaged in going to Jeff City. This year we went 5 different times and just talking about the different needs in the communities. And we actually went up with Nixa's school this year. So those are just a couple of highlights, and I wanted to leave time if there, I don't, actually, can I do that? Do you guys ask questions if I could answer anything? So.
Anybody have any questions?
So it says on here that there's 4 projects currently working in Nixa, and then there's 8 different businesses that are potential as well. The likelihood of those all coming to fruition?
I know, I feel confident that one of them will break ground this year. So I think that at least one of them is going to make an announcement this year. The other ones, I don't want to guarantee anything,
Sure.
but that is the one I feel 100% confident is going to be here in Nixa. And that's job creation. There's going to be probably around 35 to 40 full-time positions that will be here in Nixa from
Great.
that one.
Any other questions?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Callahan.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, my hair's all messed up. I'm working over at the mill. Hey, so I wanted to kind of talk to you guys real quick about what Show Me Christian County did for 14 Mill Market. I mean, I don't even know if we could have done it. So, like, when you go to a bank and you say, hey, I want to open up a food hall, and they're like, a what? And they're like, and you want to open it where? And they're like, so we had to jump through a lot of hoops through the bank to try to figure out how to get this project off the ground. Show Me Christian County by far helped us with all of our projections, our 3-year plans. They talked directly to the bank on several times, getting all of our statistics for them. They were to where we could kind of back off and concentrate on our dream, and they helped with all of the stuff that a business wouldn't know. And they have a lot of programs and stuff that really helped us for far as their software. They built it the way the bank liked it, where we didn't have to, guess with, going back and forth through the bank because, the bank wanted it a certain way. Show Me Christian County already knew that. And since the, 14 Mill Market has open, June 8th will be our year, which is awesome. We've created 75 jobs. We're going to create about probably $90,000 in tax revenue to the city of Nixa this year. Just last week, we had, $100,000 a week at the mill. I think we literally employ Nixa High School. So and I know a lot of parents love that because they don't have to go to Springfield now. So we have a lot of kids, and we've had them for a long time. Being able to develop them with, good practices of business and stuff. And so I just wanted to share what 14 Mill did and, and also just real quick what Show Me Christian County did for us at the beginning. And I don't know where we would have been without them. Thanks. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello. Thanks for allowing me to speak for a few minutes. I'm the incoming board chair for Show Me Christian County. My name is Jeff Allen. I'm a lifelong Nixa resident. I had Mrs. Graham in high school or in junior high school. Yeah. Anyway, so I had to throw that in. Sorry. But yeah, it's I've been on the board now for about 5 or 6 years, and it's been amazing to me how people from all over the country. I mean, we have people from California, people from all the planet asking about, hey, what about Christian County? What can we do? And having an organization that has the ability to say, hey, here's what properties we have, here's what we can do, here's what we can have, here's what we can provide for you, I mean, is an amazing part. I think it really has been a benefit. I'm a CPA, I'm a partner at Forvis in Springfield, and so I really, look at the economic piece of it. I can understand, how that works, and I really see the benefit that the city gets as way more than the cost of what it is. And so I just wanted to share that with you today. I'm amazed at, everybody, I've lived in Nixa my whole life, and my neighbors from California, from Texas, and there's all these places, like, it's kind of weird that everybody from the country's coming over here because they really want to live here. Mm-hmm. It's a great place to live, and businesses are the same thing. Businesses are really looking to relocate here and live here because it's a great place to live, it's safe, and it's obviously a wonderful place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Anybody else? All right. If nobody else, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. So there was a group of us that were on a panel the other day, and Jimmy and Doug and Scott were there. And kind of one of the things that were being asked, and this is a commercial investment panel, is, what can we offer to new businesses? And I really feel like the setup that we have right now with Cindy as the business liaison, the Nixa Chamber, and Show Me Christian County is really kind of a one-stop shop. And I'm only saying this because I have experienced it. I have had people who reach out to me and say that they want to look at doing something different, bring a business into Nixa or whatever it is, and they have been taken care of. It's not just, there's so much more than Kristen can probably fit in 5 minutes that they do to help people willing to invest in our community. Economic development is huge. I think whenever the comprehensive plan comes out, that's one of the number one things you're going to hear that needs to be invested in is economic development. But even someone who, may find a piece of property, but they don't have the money to bulldoze the old building down and things like that. That's things that us and Show Me and the Chamber can all work together and help with. Because anytime anyone, in my opinion, if someone's willing to invest in Nixa, I want us to do everything we can to help them. So that's my 2 cents. But if there's anything else from council.
I'll follow that up and say that I've had opportunities to deal with businesses that have went through Show Me Christian County, and I can tell you that I've met some entrepreneurs in this town that had good dreams, similar to Rick's story, and they will tell you that a lot of it came together because Show Me Christian County showed them or just made little connections, whether it was to utility companies on how do I get the upgrade, how do I get a few things changed on this, can I make this work? And they chose here because they had someone I'm going to say hold their hand, because that's probably what it always described it to say, hey, it worked, and help them through it, because it's a daunting task, I think, for some to open up a business or to move a business across state lines or whatever and have to take that on, and they're able to welcome them to the Christian County and to the Nixa area and show them their way.
I also feel that this is a good organization until we can get to the point where we have someone that we can, a position for economic development. This is a great alternative because it helps get us some of that return on our investment. It's not as much as it would be if we were to go out and hire somebody specifically for this. So I think it is a good fit for where we are as a city as well.
The tough part about that is I think really to get a good economic development person internally, you're going to be at $100,000, and we get 4 employees right now. So that's kind of be quite a, don't get an idea to up this investment or anything. All right, well, if there's no other questions or anything else from staff, I will accept a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
First by Mr. Vess, a second by Mr. Ogden. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, the motion passes. Okay. Real quick, next up is the liaison report by Mr. Peterson. So we'll do a quick 5-minute break so he can get all ready and set up and good to go. All right, we will call the meeting back to order. Mr. Peterson, teach us about parks.
Good evening. Yes, I am here to give the presentation for Nixa Parks and Recreation. So Nixa Parks and Recreation, we have 12 full-time staff. Matt Kraus is our director. Katie Buford, our assistant director. And then we have, I'm probably going to get some of the names wrong, but Ashley Baumgartner, administrative assistant. Jennifer Moore, administrative assistant. Wow, there we go. Crystal Guyer. Geyer.
It's close.
I got cheese on my mind. Recreational specialist, health and wellness, Jay Gallivan. Recreational specialist 2. Ryan Campbell, recreation specialist. Victoria Blue, another recreational specialist. Sherry Winger, indoor maintenance. Landon Kelly, building and grounds maintenance. And Vince Williams, lead building and grounds maintenance. And Javier Guzman, building and grounds maintenance. One little caveat is Vince is actually in his last week with the department. He is moving on to his own endeavors. So one of the other things I wanted to highlight is our youth programs that we offer. So currently we have a few youth sports. Our participation was up about 4.5%, a little over 4.5% over 2022, for 2022 to 2023. And we served around 4,500 youth in that time period. All of these activities that we offer are getting close to being maxed out. So if you think about it, if you see it, we have spring recreational volleyball, which was up at 88% capacity. And the fall was at 92% capacity. Recreational basketball, the November-December session was at 88.5%. Recreational basketball in January-February was about 81% capacity. Baseball, softball, t-ball, session 1 at 93, and then session 2 was around 67. So the spring youth soccer, 77%, and then fall youth soccer, 74.5%. So and then spring football, flag football is 75.2%. So if I wake this back up here, give me just a second. I won't say my password, I'll just type it. So if we look at this, we can see that these first, if we go back, these first groups, the volleyball, basketball, baseball, softball, t-ball, those activities are kind of limited because of the amount of space that we have. So if we were to look at it in a different way to help expand those programs, we would have to do some creative juggling, per se. One of the things, especially with basketball, right now we are utilizing some of the school's gyms, and with the way that the school is growing, we are kind of leery about how much longer we'll be able to utilize those facilities. And so in order to provide all of these programs, we want to make sure that we're going to have some space. So we're going to have to take a hard look at this in the future here to see what we can do, especially if these programs do continue to gain popularity and have more participants. The other ones that are in this, the soccer and the flag football, are not necessarily constrained by space as much as they are by equipment. So if we were to expand these programs, we could do that a lot easier because we just need more equipment for those activities. So the other thing I wanted to do is kind of highlight some of the updates that we've had. As you know, we built the new all-inclusive playground opened in 2023. And we've noticed an increase in the amount of traffic that's come in to the park, which is kind of interesting in and of itself because the park had a 26% increase in traffic even without the pool being opened. So this year, with the pool actually going to be open and used, we're kind of interested in seeing if this trend continues or if it flattens out. We don't know what it's going to look like yet, but it'll be something that will be of interest. And then the average stay has been 70 minutes and the median stay is about an hour. And of course, the busiest days that we see are on Saturdays. We also have some volunteer serve days. So there have been several groups that have reached out and would like to participate in serve days, volunteer days. And so the Parks Department is looking at putting together more of a schedule so that we can combine these groups rather than having to try and work around and put 2, 3, 4, whatever groups in a year and just have like, this is our serve day, once a quarter, once every 4 months, whatever it ends up being. As you know, that there's always a project that is needing to be completed. We do get, we'd like to acknowledge the Christian County Master Gardeners because they do a tremendous amount of work at Rotary and at Gardens at Woodfield. Some of the improvements that we've seen, the Macaulay Park Playground, obviously, the all-inclusive playground that we opened in 2023, which we used our impact fees for that we had saved up over several years in order to be able to fund that. So it wasn't anything of like tax revenue that was used to build that. We have the trail and sidewalk extensions. Some of that's already been completed. We're going to have some more coming up this year. We have a new pavilion that did arrive, but not in time to be installed for this year, for this season. So we've pushed that back a little bit to be installed later on in 2024. Of course, the pool renovation and repair scheduled to open first week of June. So that's still on track, even with all the rain. The splash pad is another new feature that we are going to have installed this year. We're also renovating the disc golf course, and that's actually happening now. So that should be open, and fairly soon. I'm sorry? A few weeks. There you go. We also have the dog park, dog play amenities that have been ordered. I'm not sure the timing on that yet. Probably June sometime. Okay. So around June, we'll have some more activities for the four-legged friends. And the last thing that I kind of wanted to do was give you a little update on the splash pad. So obviously that's a rendering. It's not exactly maybe what we'll have, but the location is where we've decided to put this. So this will be up next to the pool, but not inside of the pool. So it will be a free amenity that is available for everyone to enjoy. It is another item that we've been able to use some of the impact fees for. So, and that should be completed fall of 20, open 25. Yeah, I think that was on a previous slide as well. So, that is pretty much it. The only other items that I'd like to kind of mention or highlight is the fitness center is still doing really well, although we have seen a slight decline in memberships just due to the economic climate. We believe that that's one of those things that people will take out of their budget before they do some others. So it's still doing well, but maybe not as robust as in the past. On another side note, the local library, the Nixa branch of the Christian County Library, does have a couple of passes that you can check out to go use the fitness center. They are available for a 1-week pass that you can use one person per day. And so they are utilized regularly, and it's not just Nixa residents, it's also other residents that will come in to maybe try out the fitness center, or if they're just in town for a little bit, be able to utilize it. Also, the enrichment programs, childcare programs that we do are still going really well. Summer camp, Summered Up, it seems to always cap out with the 100 kid max in June in July and August. And that currently is not something that we can grow right now, but it is one of the more popular programs that we do offer at the park. So, and then the only other thing that I forgot to mention in the beginning was we do have around 120 part-time employees as well as those 12 full-time staff. So it does fluctuate depending upon the season. So like right now with summer coming and the pool actually being open, we do have a few more positions that bumps that up to around 120. So with that, I'll say I'm done.
Any questions?
Questions?
For Mr. Peterson?
I have a question. Do we have any stats on how many people are utilizing the pickleball times?
The pickleball, it ranges. It's usually somewhere between 25 and 40 out there each morning playing.
I was just curious because when I'm there and they're there, it's really busy.
It's very full.
Okay.
I was surprised on the volleyball number because I went to a volleyball game there and you couldn't walk through that place.
Yeah.
So I'd hate to see what 100% looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it varied. The day you went was a tournament, so the teams that win stay because they end up playing again. So it is a little bit busier on those nights, but even in and out, they're all out each week for their games. So we do games over 2 nights.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Peterson? You don't want to grill him? I mean, how's your chance?
Or Mr. Kraus.
No, you should know the answers. All right. Thank you, Mr. Peterson.
Hey.
Let's go ahead and do the picture real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I figure I'd wait till you get all the way up here before walking right back down for the next thing. Okay. So one thing that I wanted to add, he's not here tonight, but wanted to congratulate Justin Orff.
Yeah.
He was inducted into the Nixa Academic Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool. Congrats, sir. Anything else from council?
I have a couple things. First and foremost, Mayor, we have an open position on planning and zoning that we're trying to fill. There's been several letters of interest or applications, however you want to call it. So the appointments committee needs to have a meeting. So I need to know from you guys when your availability is, because also when are you wanting to have that person in place by?
I mean, ideally, if it could happen by the 1st of June.
So
if not.
June 3rd is the next planning and zoning meeting.
Yeah, there's a lot of candidates, so you
Well,
need more time.
What I'm looking at is that we'll have, if we're going to have someone that we're going to appoint, where you make the appointment on the 28th, we'll have to meet next week to make that decision. So I need to know what days you guys are available to do that.
Keep in mind your posting deadline for that agenda will be next week, will be that week, the week that you're wanting to meet. So you're looking at a Thursday or Friday posting, so you would need to meet early in the week.
It really doesn't give you guys much time.
We have to post it a week before?
So the meeting is
Posting
the
deadline for the council.
28th.
Oh, for the council. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So
That'd
the
have to be on there.
23rd, we have to have a decision. We'd have to have
A decision no later than the 23rd.
So we'd have to meet either the 20th, 21st, or 22nd.
I'm okay as long as Mr. Godby's okay as well. Holding off until the July meeting.
Well, the concern I have is I'm not sure what we're going to do about the July meeting, because I've seen a couple of the commissioners say they're not going to be available that day as well. So I'm not sure what the status of that meeting is, because that's July 1st.
Yeah, currently the July meeting, we don't have anything other than code updates that would be going to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Originally, our comp plan consultant wanted to do a presentation on the comprehensive plan and adopt it at P&Z at the July meeting, but due to the absence of a few commissioners, we're going to hold that off till August.
So I guess we could still have them here for that meeting, but I don't think the commissioner, the chair of that committee is going to be here that day.
No, the chair will be out in July, yes.
So then we're looking at August being more of the, if we don't have it by June 3rd.
Are you expecting a lot to be on the next month? I mean, you still have enough.
We have the potential for 2 code updates and then also 2 other agenda items. Only one will be coming to council.
If you guys are okay doing it early next week, I'm fine with that, but just as long as you have plenty of time to do it.
What day's better, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday? I think Wednesday might be a conflict for some of the people that need to come in, so.
Wednesday probably the hardest one.
So Tuesday?
Monday or Tuesday.
Okay. So should we do Tuesday at 6 or 7?
I don't know if we really need to.
Okay. Becca, can you,
Oh, I missed the time. What time?
6 o'clock on Tuesday, the
21st?
21st.
Are you going to be inviting specific candidates?
Yes,
Okay, if you can get that list to me as soon as you can so I can get them invited.
that would be great. Thank you. Okay. Anything else on that? I think we're good there. And then the other thing I had a resident today reach out to me. He lives on the corner of Main and South Street, Mr. Paul Devereaux. And he has some safety concerns with that 4-way stop. He sees a lot of people running those stop signs there. He's asked that maybe we look at putting some type of flashing light on the stop signs or in the area. I actually know of a place in Branson that I passed today that has a solar thing to get the power for the lights, and all around the edges has a flashing red lights. So if that's something we could look into, what the cost might be on installing something like that there. And I'd also want to extend that maybe even to Main and North Street as well at that 3-way stop, because I've seen a lot of people run that stop sign as well. And then he also had some concerns with like Jake brakes and loud noises, like really loud exhaust and stuff like that. Some noise complaints about that. He's a truck driver himself and says he loves the sound of a Jake brake, but he doesn't think it's necessary when you're on a 25-mile-an-hour road. So, I mean, if there's some type of noise ordinances that we have in place or something, we can kind of look at that and see what that goes along with. And then speeding, he's also indicated there's a lot of speeding that happens right in that area. So, he said he'd like to come, but he leaves at 2 in the morning, so he was like, I'm not gonna be able to make it. So that's why he called. So I don't know if that's something, if it's an enforcement thing, or if it's something that we need to, I don't know what our options are there.
I mean, the Jake brake thing will be next to impossible to catch, because by the time you called in, that truck's already out of the city.
Same thing with any car revving with
So,
loud
and
exhaust.
I'll
or anything.
be honest with you, I mean, I don't know what the cost is on those blinking red lights, but I feel like if someone's gonna run a red light, they're gonna run it, or a stop sign, they're gonna run it whether it's blinking or not.
I agree, but then I also know that I've caught myself almost running those, but then also.
Sean.
Also, I've almost been hit by someone running them because they didn't even realize they just didn't catch it. It wasn't like they intentionally ran it, they just distracted and went right through it, so.
I think I've seen them. We get that magazine that comes up. They're not terrible, I don't think.
We'll definitely take a look at all those issues.
Okay.
Yep.
But also, when you look at that, go ahead and look at how many intersections we have in the city with stop signs. Similar to the light shades on the streetlights, you do it for one, be prepared to do it for every stop sign in the entire city. So, not saying that that's not a good option. I don't know. But just looking at that too.
High traffic areas is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know where, like I said, where I seen the one, there's specifically a high traffic area in Branson that has them.
Yeah.
And that's the only one I've ever seen in Branson. So, not that comparing this to Branson, just the intersection is very similar. Chief, you look like you're getting ready to say something.
Yeah, if you, did he give you any particular timeframes on that? Because we can do directed patrol or enforcement in that area. If we have a specific time, that's helpful, so that we can be out there at the times that he's seeing these interactions, you know.
He did not, but I can definitely reach back out to him and ask him for that. I'm sure he'd be willing to give me that information.
Yeah, we're more than happy to go out and put a little more effort out there in that area if it's problematic.
I honestly, I mean, I've seen your staff desk down the road in the Korean Church parking lot there, and I mean, I think a lot of people realize that they're there, but so it's surprising that we have that much problems even with them right there. So that's, yeah, if they're a little bit closer, a little more visible, I think we could definitely nip that in the.
Yep, yeah, just timeframes would be good for us. It would
Yep,
be
I'll see what I can
helpful.
find for you.
There you go. Cool. Anything else from council?
I'll go ahead and say it. It was kind of mentioned, but don't forget that next city council meeting will be on Tuesday, not on Monday, the 28th, because of Memorial Day being on the 27th. It was mentioned, but it was not mentioned why we're like,
gotcha.
Don't forget Tuesday. Not so much for us. I think we all have it on our calendars that way, but there are some participants.
I feel like that was directed at Mr. Ogden, but.
Zern, can you call me that day?
Yeah. You be at the lake.
I normally
being like,
text you, so sorry. All right, if there's nothing else from council, anything from staff?
Yep, two quick things. One, just a reminder, leadership workshop for the comp plan, I believe is Wednesday night for council and P&Z. And then secondly, just if you haven't had an opportunity to take a look at the Sucker Day sign up, please do so. We have a lot of slots and we could use all the help we can get for our booth. So I think Macy sent that email out.
A couple times, I believe. All right. All right, nothing else? Mr. Peterson?
I move that city council go into closed session under section 610-021-2 of RSMO so that the council may discuss the leasing, purchasing, and sale of real estate by a public governmental body where public knowledge of the transaction may adversely affect the legal consideration thereof. I also move that this closed session, records related thereto, and any votes taken by the council during this session shall be closed under section 610-021 of RSMO, and that the city council shall stand adjourned after the closed session.
Second.
First by Mr. Peterson, a second by Mr. Lucas. Roll call, please.
Matt Ogden,
Yes.
Aaron Peterson,
Yes.
Kelly Morris,
Yes.
Darlene Graham,
Yes.
Sean Lucas,
Yes.
Zern Vest.
Yes.
Thank you all.